Look at that. A, B, W. Damn. Oh, damn. This is the passenger side with the gas lid. Oh. Wow. Crazy. Let's put it up on the car. So this is gonna go basically like... Wow. This is incredible. It's gonna look so good. This is wild. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but obviously this will be tucked behind the light. This piece will be tucked underneath the bumper, but I'll have that body line that continues on through that rear door that I just finished painting. Yeah, it's gonna have the sedan wide body. It's gonna look so freaking good. No going back now. Something more needs to come off. What's up, friends, and welcome back to another video. So I have started working on installing the fiberglass rear quarter panels. Here is what they look like. These are the rear quarters that are designed for the wagons, 02 to 07 that is. These are from ABW. They're really lightweight. The fitment is actually pretty damn good. One thing that I guess is very common with these things, anytime you're fitting fiberglass panels that are designed for your car, they never are going to fit up perfect, so there's a lot of work that goes into getting them to fit as right as they possibly can. So that's pretty much what I've been working on. I haven't shown a lot of that process yet. I had a lot of trial and error to sort of get through and sort out because I've never done this. And so now that I've had some time to work through the passenger side rear quarter, I will show you what I have worked through and some of the problems and challenges that I've faced and the solutions that I've come up with. And then I'll shoot a bunch of me working on similar stuff on the driver's side, installing this one so that you can sort of see that whole process. So like I already just showed you, this is what the quarter panel looks like. I have not trimmed this one whatsoever. It does require a lot more trimming than I initially thought. Here is one of the quarters just being held in place by these Clecos. That's what these are called. They're pretty cool fasteners, and I think a lot of like welders use them to like hold two pieces of metal together so they won't move, so you can tack the weld in place. But yeah, so I have started to trim quite a bit on this thing. So I trimmed off this inner piece, trimmed off some of the top, as well as trimmed it back up here and along this whole taillight housing area. I have a line right here because I'm actually going to trim this piece off as well. And let me go ahead and pull these Clecos out so I can show you underneath what I have done to trim the body. You know, this whole process is a nerve-wracking one. And here's why. Oh, there's one more. So you have to cut a lot into the body of your car. Yeah, the whole gas tank lid I've cut out. Obviously, I trimmed a bunch of the fender and the dog leg as well. And the tactic I'm sort of taking is that I decided to trim it and then fold it up, kind of bend it up in place and create this ridge that this whole piece right here can sort of sit on. It seems to be working pretty good. I have this bigger piece back here that I folded out because it fits right into this slot right there on the fender or on the rear quarter. So yeah, it's I definitely for me personally, I definitely think this is a very stressful and nerve-wracking process. I've never cut into a car like this, and there's really no going back. So yeah, that's what it looks like underneath. I'm really excited to be able to finally hide this damage. I'm going to clean up that rust first, obviously, before I actually put the panel bond on and fasten it in place permanently. But yeah, I still have a ways to go on this side before it is completely finished. And I think what I'm actually going to do is get the other side all fit up as well, and install the Clecos and get it all pretty much ready to be bonded in place like this one. Although this one's not quite ready, I still need to do some sanding underneath to get the panel bond to adhere really well. So, but yeah, I think what I'm going to do is start on the other one now that I have the passenger side fit up pretty dang well, and there's still a lot of like loose ends that I need to tie up on it, but at least I got the majority of it done, and I know where to make I know where to make most of the cuts on the actual fiberglass panel. So yeah, I'm gonna get the other side all fit up, get it all ready, and then we'll tie up some of the loose ends, like getting the gas tank like piece cut out of here and then actually put into the back of that panel. So what I'm going to do here, as you can see, I've kind of already started to cut along this edge. So I'm gonna basically cut this out, and then we're gonna glue this to the back of the panel. So right behind that, so it will sit right on there on that side of the panel. And the reason why that's important is because this little piece right here actually mounts to that, and this piece holds. It's got this little hole right there where you can see my finger moving behind it. That hole actually holds the gas lid release right here, so that fits in there in that slot. And not only that, but there's also like a little, I think it's like an evaporative line or a breather line right here that fits onto this port right there. So I need to make that fit somehow, and that was the only thing that I could really come up with that made the most sense, is to just cut that little piece out, glue it to the back, screw out the holes in the fiberglass, and then I'll be able to mount the hardware for those pieces, and I'll be able to retain my gas tank release. And then just real quick before I start working on the other side, I'm just going to explain real quick why I have trimmed this back the way that I have. So the reason it's trimmed back away from the body, because it did, you know, at least down here, it lined up with the body line right here. And the reason why I'm doing that, bringing it back a little bit further right here, and then I'm gonna do the same down here. And then I also probably need to do that right here. I didn't think I was going to need to on this edge, but I think I need to cut it further back. And the reason for that is, so like, if you look at the body lines, I mean, everything lines up pretty dang good with this door, so that's really cool. But the thing is, so if I leave this line right here sticking off, I will need to sand right in here, and then I'm gonna have to Bondo this. And so when I Bondo that, I'm gonna be adding more material to that edge, and it's gonna, it already, as you can see, the material sticks off sticks out further than the door, because you know there's obviously like more material stacked on top of there. So that's just like what's going to happen. So if I bring it back, then I can blend that to the edge and keep the original body line, and everything will line up a little bit better. So it's the same thing over here. I have some room to, you know, lay down body filler and keep it off this very edge, so that when you close the hatch, this line right here will line up perfect with this line again, and this won't be like sticking up. So that's why I decided to do that here, because the bumper lines up with this piece, and I wanted the bumper to look nice and lined up as much as I possibly could. This fender, like right around like this area, does start to stick off, and it gets wider as it comes out, and the bumper actually sticks inside, but I kind of think it looks cool, to be totally honest with you. So I may leave it, or I might try to like pull the bumper out to get it to line up with and stick like some spacers behind it. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm gonna do yet. So I wanted to work through this real quick, figure out what the hell I'm actually doing, because I'm way out of my comfort zone on this. I don't know, I've never done anything like this, and when I first started I was like, oh man, what have I gotten myself into? I am way in over my head. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to figure this out. I just kept messing with stuff. I would sit there staring at it for just way too long, just thinking before I made a cut, because I was so nervous to cut into the body of my car. But I'm feeling a lot more confident. I think I'm in a good spot. So, you know, I am feeling like it's gonna turn out well and it's gonna look good. But, you know, I still need to do a little bit of trimming on this panel, so I'm gonna knock that out real quick. Once I get that finished, we'll move to the other side and we'll keep this thing going, and I'll show you as much of this process as I can, in case there are some of you out there that would like to do this to your wagon, because I think it's gonna look really, really sick. That door that I just repainted on there, and this panel, I mean, dang, dude, it really is going to transform this car. So I'm super stoked about that. So over the last few days, I have worked on fitting up this passenger side. I did go ahead and clean up all the areas where I cut, just tried to file down any of the burrs that were sticking off or the sharp edges, and then I actually sealed the bare metal. I just used like a Rust-Oleum primer followed by like Rust-Oleum clear. And then I'm gonna use some type of like sealant or like seam sealer between the little layers of metal and fix that rust spot. There was a rust spot right here where it's dented. I'm not gonna worry about trying to pull the dent because the fender just like covers it so well. But yeah, it's nice and fixed up now. There's no more exposed rust there. Actually sanded it down until it was completely to the bare metal, and then sealed it up with the paint and the clear. Did the same around here. You can see it's kind of like real drippy. It's just because I went kind of thick, because I just wanted to make sure it was all covered. Another thing to update you on is I got the gas lid all fit in here nicely. So I had to buy a new hinge. This is actually an OEM hinge. That is the part number if you ever need one of those. That's for a sedan gas lid hinge. And it actually fits quite nice. I have this extra hardware in here. It is just fastened to the fiberglass. Flip it around for you so you can see. But yeah, I had to screw the hardware in right there. And this is gonna have a little bit more structural integrity to it once I finish the piece that this piece that I cut, that didn't end up working out, it goes right in here. It comes out and there's a flange that bolts to this rim around here. And it just protects this area from water or anything else that might drip down between the gas lid and the panel, so that rust can't start accumulating inside of the quarter panel. So I do still have to fit that up. That part should be here in like another day. I just ordered another used one off of eBay for a sedan, hoping that it will fit this a little bit better and I won't have to like modify it, but I may still have to modify it in order to get it to sit right on the fiberglass. I have now gone ahead and fit up the passenger side door. This is the one that I fixed. Looks okay. I mean, I can tell that I did some body work there. It looks like slightly wavy in some spots, but overall it actually looks pretty dang good. And I did test fit the panel on here and shut the door just to kind of look at it. And I think it's gonna look pretty damn good, to be honest, once it's all painted up. So pulled the side skirt off, pulled the little extra trim piece there and the dog leg trim here. And now I'm just gonna start cutting like I did on the other side. I might have cut too much off. We're just gonna have to make it work. Thought that I took too much off the fender, but now that I have the fiberglass actually cut down, it's like seating better on there where it's supposed to be, so I think it's actually fine. There is like a little gap underneath there. There's a gap on the other side as well. I'm just gonna fill that gap with either the panel bond or some sort of like clear weather resistant adhesive or sealant, just to kind of protect it and keep any sort of like weather or debris out of the fender. Otherwise it could just like collect up inside of that. So right up in there, I know it's hard to see, this seats a little bit further up when it's fully on. But there's a little gap in there. That's what I'm talking about. When it's fully fastened on there with the Clecos too, it does close some of that gap, but I mean, it's not ideal, but I don't really know of like a different way to like fit the existing body or quarter panel inside of this fiberglass one. So that's kind of what I did on the other side. I had to cut some off and then sort of like tuck it under, and it just created a little gap. So, but I really don't think it's gonna be a big deal. I think I can fill that with like, like I said, some sort of seam sealer, and yeah, you won't even be able to see that it's there because it's tucked up underneath the fender well. But yeah, it looks pretty good. There's some more cuts that I still need to make on this quarter panel. The fitment, you can tell though, is pretty good. Like, that's the door that I did all the Bondo work on. And like I said, you can tell, but it's not bad. I think it's gonna look pretty damn good once it's all finished up. I do need to make a cut here, like on the other side, and trim a bunch of this off all the way around, and even like underneath here, as well as some of the bottom of the dog leg on the fiberglass. All right guys, so making some huge progress over here on these quarter panels. I finished sealing up the bare metal on the driver's side. As you can see, I just sprayed some of this Rust-Oleum. It's an aluminum primer, just like a white primer, and then cleared over it with the 2K gloss clear from Rust-Oleum. Hopefully that'll keep any sort of like rust from growing underneath there. I don't imagine that that can happen anyhow, because I'm gonna seal that really well with some seam sealer. So I just wanna show you real quick while I'm waiting for that clear to dry. So I did cut these plates out of the old backing for the body, the piece of the body that this flange sits to, or like bolts to. I just wanted to like cut some metal out like around these edges with these nuts that are like welded in place, just to provide a little bit more structural integrity behind the fiberglass. So that way, when we bolt this piece in place, it not only bolts straight to this really well, but it also bolts down to this metal piece that sits at the bottom of this. And it'll bolt right down into there onto the inside of the body of the car. So that way it'll provide a lot more like structural integrity to the whole thing, and then I don't have to like worry so much about that gas lid, I don't know, causing problems with cracking or anything like that. One thing that you should note if you want to do this on your own car is just know that that piece, that gas like flange piece, I forget what it's called. I did find it on eBay. This is from an 02 WRX Sedan. So the one that came off the wagon, it didn't fit. It's because there's no like flare to the back. This side of it doesn't have that that angle, the right angle. So the flange doesn't sit right. And I was trying to like modify the wagon one, but I ended up just totally screwing it up because I was gonna like cut a piece out and then like glue it back together. It just wasn't working, so it was kind of stupid. But if you get the sedan one, it fits beautifully with this kit. So I highly recommend that you just do that. when you order your sedan gas lid, because that's what you need to do this project as well. So yeah, now I'm going to test fit that whole thing and make sure that those backing plates work. And that way you can see exactly how that little filler tube fits inside of there. All right, so remove the gas lid, so that's gotta come off. Funnel. The release that gets depressed when you pull on the lever to release the gas tank. It just sits right in there. And this is where it was a little tricky to get it installed. There we go, just like that. Take our little metal flange. Moment of truth. Ooh, look at that. Damn, that looks nice. Now I just need to make sure that when I pull that little lever to release the gas lid, that will actually pop open on its own. So let's give it a shot. Sounded promising. Ooh yeah, there it is. Nice. Dang, that is so money. So money. Looks pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie, there was some moments there where I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to make that work very well. Keys to it, obviously you need the sedan gas lid, but also getting that sedan little filler neck tube that sits over, I guess it's not actually the filler neck, it's like the filler neck like funnel or whatever the hell you wanna call it. Getting that thing for the sedan made that whole process like way easier. Obviously you want that hinge for the sedan lid as well. I ordered that. I ordered a new OEM one and it was only like, I mean, it was less than 25 bucks, I think, from the dealer here. So not a very expensive part, but you need those three things to make this thing work right. And it works beautifully. So next up, I just gotta wait for this clear to dry. It looks like it's getting close. Once it is all dried up, then I'm gonna put this fender back on. I do have it all cut to the right size. It looks just like the passenger side. And once I do that, I will start drilling some holes and placing Clecos. Time to drill some holes. So there it is, all fit up. Looks pretty dang good actually. Body lines line up really nicely through here and through here. And then we got really nice flush fitment with the dog leg all the way down. This will kind of get pushed in a little bit once I put Clecos in there. Obviously I can't put them in right now with the door shut. So we'll be doing that later, but really flush body line here. And the gap is super even all the way through. So I'm very happy about that. Got it to really pull in nice and tight right here in this corner. That's what I ended up doing on the other side as well. Yeah, I'm pleased to say the least that part is over with. The fitment on these was a pretty stressful experience because I've never done anything like this. And you know, it's one of those things where once you make a cut to the fiberglass or the body of the car, there's no turning back. So you better hope you didn't make a egregious mistake that you can't kind of like fix or work with. Thankfully, every mistake that I have made so far has been one that wasn't such a big deal and there was a good workaround, but it's inevitable. Something like this, if you've never done it before, you're gonna make some mistakes. So yeah, I think that's why this has just been taking me so long. I've had to have a lot of patience and just take my time and trust the process. But it is coming along nicely, as you can see. But I think I'm going to end this video here. I think it's a good stopping point for this video. I don't want it to drag on too long. And in the next part, we'll finish up getting these panels permanently fixed to the body of the car. And then we will start putting on some body filler and shaping these things so that they look like they are all one piece. Really excited for that and really excited to see what that's going to look like. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video here. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Please hit that like button and think about subscribing to the channel if you want to see more progress on this build. After we get this bodywork done, we are going to be STI swapping the drivetrain on this entire car. So that's going to be real exciting. And I think it's really going to transform this car. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, peace out, everyone.